Hi, this is your September 22nd lecture for Family Living. We're going to be covering pages 31 through 37. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is diet and nutrition in a little bit more detail. We're going to be talking basically about how we know we can make good eating decisions. So the diet of America today, if there is a way to describe it, really the typical American diet has a lot of flaws, and this is contributing to a major health crisis in America. A lot of Americans eat too much fat, they eat too much sugar, they eat too much sodium, or they're lacking in important nutrients like fiber. And because of this, a lot of Americans today are experiencing a lot of sickness and disease that they could have avoided. So the leading causes of death in the United States are linked to poor diet. So that would be heart disease, cancer, stroke, hypertension, diabetes, and arteriosclerosis. So what scientists have tried to do is they've tried to promote a healthy diet by coming out with dietary guidelines for Americans. So what can we do to have a healthy diet? What can Americans do a little bit better? Well, the first thing is that we, of course, need to find the balance between food and physical activity. If you have a higher level of physical activity, that's better for your body because you're getting exercise and your body thrives on exercise. In fact, the best way to keep your IQ points from dropping once you get a little bit older, because IQ points drop after age 18, is to exercise. If you keep your mind and your body active, then you will maintain your IQ points. But it's good for your body, but it's also the way that you can burn your excess calories and just keep a good balance between how much you're eating and what you're doing. Teenagers should participate in physical activity for at least 60 minutes nearly every day, and adults should engage in 30 minutes of physical activity most days. Okay, so from there you can also make smart food choices. And this is going to have to do with the different food groups, which we're going to talk about in just a few minutes as to what are good food choices. But obviously it's best to go with fruit and vegetables, to have diets rich in whole grains, to have your daily need met for protein and the other vitamins and minerals and things that we need to have healthy diets. It's important to remember that you want to eat a variety of foods. That way you can ensure that you get more nutrients, because if you only eat a cup of ramen noodles every day, you're going to be missing out on a lot of nutrients. So you do need to mix it up. You also want to get the most out of your nutrition. So what you want to do is you want to choose foods that are low in calories, but that are healthy. So fruit, for example, or vegetables. They're low in calories, but they're healthy for you. And you want to avoid empty calories, which, remember, empty calories are foods that are basically devoid of nutrition. So you want to find the balance between food and physical activity, make smart food choices, and eat a variety of foods. And you want to get the most out of your nutrition. All right, so let's talk here about the food label for just 1 second. What you're going to do first is you're going to pause the video and complete the Edpuzzle that's posted on Edpuzzle that is about the food label. Okay, so hopefully you found that video to be interesting. Let's look at this food label right here for just 1 second. It's important to remember that basically sodium up are the types of nutrients you want to limit. The dietary fiber right here is the type of nutrient you definitely want to reach your daily amount of. And if you see any vitamins, you definitely want to reach your daily amount of those, because those help your body run the best and the most smoothly. And usually down here, if you look at the footnote area on your box, it's not on this label, but if you look on generally on the food labels on boxes, you'll see the section that lists the total daily allowance of each nutrient listed. Okay, so the food pyramid, I just want to mention really quickly, is something that I grew up with. It was big in the 90s and the early 2000s. And your book mentions the food pyramid, which is why I'm mentioning it here. But really, the food pyramid is a little bit outdated, and nutritionists have replaced it with something called My Plate. So if you're interested in finding out what My Plate is, you should Google it, because that's the new and updated food guide. Though this is still, it has some good healthy choices on here, obviously. So we're going to talk about food groups next, which is what the food pyramid and My Plate both talk about, because you're supposed to get a certain amount of certain foods every single day. So you're going to pause the video here and watch your Edpuzzle assignment about food groups. Okay, so I hope that you found those videos today helpful. We still have a couple more things that we want to talk about before we close out the lecture for the day. So the last thing that we want to talk about is as far as calories and food groups go, are your discretionary calories, because after this we're going to talk about weight management. So discretionary calories are calories that come from solid or sugars or from eating more foods from any of the food categories that are healthy for you. So you can have a little bit of extra calories in your day if you fill out all of the different requirements from the food groups. Then you can have a few extra calories, which if you're a teenage girl, you can have about 265 extra calories in any way that you want to spend them. So if you wanted a candy bar, or if you wanted more fruits, or if you wanted more eggs, whatever it may be that you desire. Or if you're teenage boys, can have 425 extra calories. And the reason that they can have more is because of the fact that boys are generally taller than girls, and the taller you are, the more calories you burn, and boys are generally more active than girls are. And the more active you are, the more calories you can consume. Okay, so let's talk about weight management. Maintaining a healthy weight is not achieving some ideal body that you see on the cover of a magazine. That is not what healthy weight management is. Healthy weight is a range of weights, and it has to do with how tall you are, and it has to do with your age, and it has to do with whether or not you are a male or a female. So there is something called the BMI, and if you look up your age, your height, and your gender, you can get a range of weights that you can weigh and be within a healthy weight range. So it's important to recognize that it's unhealthy to think that you need to look like a supermodel. That's unhealthy. It's unhealthy to think that you need to look like some super popular athlete. That's unhealthy. Every person's body is different. Everybody is unique in their own right, and every person has a healthy weight range that's good for them. And as long as you're within a healthy weight range, then that is great. You don't have to be at the lowest end of the weight range to be ideal. You can be at the higher end of your weight range if you want. But as long as you're in a healthy weight, that's what's important. Okay, so it sometimes happens that people find they need to lose weight, particularly women who've just had a baby. So, or any number of people who might have let their weight creep up. Sometimes in college, college students accidentally gain 10 pounds. It's called the freshman 10, and it's because they are so sedentary, because they're sitting around and studying all the time and eating pizza, and then they accidentally gain weight. But if weight loss has to happen, then the key to that is to make gradual changes in eating and exercise habits. And then once you've reached a healthy weight, then you can maintain a healthy weight by maintaining your healthy habits. So unhealthy weight loss is going to look like those fad diets that try to tell you that you can lose, 10 pounds in a week by drinking nothing but apple cider vinegar or something like that, which I just made that up. That's not really a diet, I don't think, but it's an example of those extreme fad diets. It's not good for your body to go on fad diets. The fad diets can mess up your metabolism and actually slow your metabolism down, and then that can slow weight loss progress down. So diets that tell you to skip meals usually are unhealthy because they usually result in you wanting to eat more later, or diets that say that you should eat less than 1,200 calories per day are unhealthy because it causes your body to go into a state of self-preservation. So really the best way to lose weight is to lose weight gradually. Lose no more than 2 pounds a week. So what you're going to do is in order to lose weight gradually, you're going to increase your physical activity and decrease your calorie intake. And to do that, your body will burn more calories than you're consuming, which will result in weight loss. Sometimes it also happens that people need to gain weight because they're super thin. And you, of course, gain weight in a very similar way to weight loss, except what you would do is you would eat more calories, and you would, of course, try to choose healthy calories. Okay, we're going to take a moment and talk about 2 eating disorders. Eating disorders are very common, unfortunately, and they're very serious, and they really are detrimental to a person's health. So the 2 most common are anorexia nervosa, and this is an eating disorder characterized by self-starvation. Regardless of how much weight an anorexic loses, she continues to see herself as being overweight. So she has an unhealthy view of herself. And then bulimia is the second one. And this is an eating disorder characterized by repeated eating binges followed by forced vomiting to get rid of food. So both of these are very serious conditions, and both of these can, if left untreated, result in death of the individual. So it's important that if you know anybody who has an eating disorder, that you get them help because they need help. Okay, the last thing that we're going to talk about is sports nutrition. So the athlete has a greater need than the average person for 2 things. That's going to be energy and water. And the reason, of course, that he needs more energy or extra calories is because he is expending a lot of energy through his athleticism. So it's important for an athlete to choose meals that are going to help him keep up his energy levels. An athlete also has a greater need for water, and this, of course, is because as someone's exercising, they're going to, or competing in a sport, they're going to lose water through sweat, and they need to replenish what they've lost. So the same thing is true with every person as is true with an athlete. It's important to eat healthy and to pay attention to your personal needs. Thank you so much. Bye.